Hello, everybody. We're going to do a slight modification on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys break this down into two separate graphs. I know the directions say two per graphing area. That's somewhat problematic, at least for your current skill. So what I'm going to suggest is that we split this down the middle, however you want to do that, and then we're going to do one on the left, one on the right. If you find that the space is a little bit too confining there, I'm fine with you doing it on a separate sheet of graph paper. So anyway, first thing what I want you to do on this is break it down into our four parts. So amplitude, and then we want our period, and then we would like our vertical translation, and we want our phase shift. So take a couple of seconds and write that part out if you already haven't done so. So you should have amplitude of 4, period of 2 pi over 3, vertical translation of being up 3, and there is no phase shift on this one. Since most of this stuff is now up, I would suggest that obviously we set our x-axis a little lower. And since we're going 2 pi over 3, we're going to break this down into let's say, so 2 pi over 3 would be our fourth mark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which is right there. So that's going to be 2 pi over 3. So halfway would be half that, which would be pi over 3. And then we would get pi, and then we're going to get 4 pi over 3. So we're going to get our 2 cycles through this. There is no phase shift, so we don't have to worry about sliding it in any direction. And then over here, we're going to have, depending on how you want to count this, we'll just count by 4, just by 1. So we're going to have our sinusoidal axis there, because that's up 4. Where does cosine start? Hey, you guys in the back, shush. All right, anyway. So cosine is going to be like that. So we're going to start up. Amplitude is 4, so we're going to start up 4. Okay, who caught, somebody should have caught this. You're all fired. Vertical translation would be 3. So you go up 3. Now you're going to go up 4. So I'm going to start at the top. Quarter of the way through, we're back down here. We're down at the bottom, middle, and now we're back at the top. And sure enough, we're at 2 pi over 3, so we did it correctly. And then we're going to go through this cycle again. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it so much, you're going to go into some sort of profession where you use sine curves. Just found out today, actually, they use this in terms of setting up cruise controls. I'll try to get more information about that on you. But there you go. Ta-da! If we need to pause here, somebody ever run up and hit pause. I'm moving on. All right. Second one. We're going to set that one up. Same difference. Amplitude, vertical translation, the period, and the phase shift. Amplitude, 3. Period is 2 pi because there's a 1 out front of the x. Now remember, if there's a number there and it's all inside the parentheses, you need to factor that out. Vertical translation, down 1. You better get it right this time. I'm sorry, I'll make that back in red so we're consistent, because otherwise I know somebody's going to be bothered. And the phase shift, we're going to go to the right, pi over 2. Axes, axes. So we're going to break this down into pi over 2, so we need 4 spots. Since pi over 2 is a little bigger than what we just did, let's make this a little bit bigger. So we'll count every 3 just for now. We're not going to count every 3. So, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be 2 pi. So this is going to be pi. Now notice we're doing a shift of right pi and a half, and that's going to be 1/4 of our cycle. So that's why I didn't break it down. I suppose I could have. But that's all right. So we go through another 4. How long is he going to be quiet? I don't know. Time for your vertical new sinusoidal axis. And that will be at down 1. So now remember, everything is normally shifted. So sine, remember, starts in the middle, goes up, and comes back down. Normally, I would be starting at. Normally, I'd be starting here, and then going up 3, down 3. Don't do this. And then you draw this out, right? The only thing is that everything's being shifted to the right pi over 2. So what's going to actually happen is instead of starting here, I'm going to move this point here. And then I'm at the next quarter point, I'm going to go up go up 3, and then I'm going to come back down to the middle, and then I'm going to come down 3, and then I'm going to finish up here. So notice I'm finishing pi over 2 after 2 pi, which is right where I should be because every one of these points is 2 off. Some people actually have found, and if you're having a hard time with the phase shift, you may want to do this. Graph everything very lightly in pencil. Okay, so like you'd actually go through and you would say, all right, I'm going to graph this, and I'm going to graph it the way that it, you graph everything here in pencil, and then you would actually slide, and then you would actually move these points over and then plot the new points. So then when you plot the actual graph, you can kind of get a sense of exactly where it's supposed to go. Not a bad idea. We'll save that for tomorrow. But anyway, so yeah, so you're going to go through that, and then you're going to graph it, and like, yay, we're done. Yeah, we should probably label our axes too, because again, remember, you never want to hang out with somebody who isn't prepared and doesn't do things correctly the first time. So if you're dating somebody who's not labeling their axes, you may want to consider somebody else. All right, so there's that. If you need to pause, hit pause. I'm going to move on. See you in a few. Okay, once again, we're going to break this up and down the middle. Ta-da! All right, store box. Now here we're doing with degrees. Ooh, I know. First things first. Now, you can do the phase shift in one of 2 different ways. I'm going to do it, you can always set that 3 theta plus 90 equal to 0 and solve. That is perfectly fine. I'm going to set it up the way that the book kind of does it. So I'm going to factor out the 3. And then you can just pull it right off the equation. So amplitude, fill it out. Period, do it. Vertical translation, write it down. And your phase shift as well, fill it out. All right, so your amplitude. Yeah, you in the back, what do you got? Good. Period. 3 cycles and 360 degrees, so our period would be 120. So you're going to take the 360 degrees and break it up among 3 people. Vertical translation, yeah, good, down 2. And your phase shift is an ever incredible left 30 degrees. So we're going to set this baby up. We're kind of shifting it down, so I'm going to put the x-axis up towards the top. Let's label these right now so you can show those people around you that you care. And that you might indeed be dateable. All right, so 120 degrees. So we're going to go 4 marks out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? Because we break all of our cycles down into 4 parts. That's where all the fun happens. So this is going to be 120 degrees, which means halfway is going to be 60. Now, before you ask, the phase shift is not always going to be 1/4 of whatever the period is. It just happens to be that way. I think you have a couple here that might be an 1/8. But anyway, I digress. You have your new axis at -2. Oh, I forgot to, and then, so let's go up and down. What should we do? Yeah, we'll count by 2s, or, yeah, 2, 4, -4, -6. Now, everything's shifted left 30, so normally we'd be starting at 0. But instead of starting at 0, we're going to start 30 degrees behind that, and that's going to be, so this is what would be like -60. So you're going to slide everything back. Normally you would start at the top because we're in cosine. We're going to go 4 up from the axis, so we're going to be up here in this range. In fact, let's get the highlighter. So we're going to be starting like right here. And then we're going to go from there, because that's 30 degrees behind 0, and then 4 up, which is where cosine starts. So I'm going to start up here at the top. Come back down here to the origin, go 4 down, come back to the middle, and come back to the top. Now notice where I'm stopping at the top is at 90 degrees. That's 30 degrees behind or to the left of 120 degrees. That means we're doing it right. And then we're just going to keep going. Da, 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 do, 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 do. And then draw in a beautiful sinusoidal curve, again showing that you care so that you can help build a better America. That's not bad. Bottom of the second front valley is a little goofy, but you know, I would accept it on a test. If somebody needs to pause, run up there. No fighting, please. You two up in the front. Shush. All right, fill this one out. I need an amplitude. I need a period. No, you know what? I'm going to set this one up and I'm going to let you graph it. So I'm going to get you the parts and I'm going to let you guys go through and graph it. Find the parts, and then I need to do another video for a different class. You guys have a good time. Actually, I'll talk about what I want you guys to do after this. But so your amplitude is 5. It's actually down 5, so it's going to be flipped. If you want to write down -5, that's fine. Remember, this curve is going to start down and come back up. Your period is going to end up being pi. The vertical translation is up 2. And your phase shift is going to be 45 degrees to the right. Because again, if I took 2 theta over or minus 90 equal to 0, you get 45, or you can factor out a 2, and that would all work. Okay? So if you need to pause this and come back to it, that's fine. Couple of reminders for tomorrow. Friday. First reality check on your unit circle. 5 minutes. If that's not enough time for you, talk to somebody in honors pre-calc or some of your friends who are in honors advanced algebra last year, and they will make fun of you because they got 2. We're also going to do a homework check. So that's going to be basically 6.1 through this worksheet. I'll try to have everything up on the schedule tonight for you to check and verify. Okay? Be good children. Have a good time. Get something done. Remember, trying to save everything to the last minute is not your best plan of attack. So, there's your little thing with all the information on it. Set her up. Yeah. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Be nice to each other.